Another shining beacon of the renewable energy transition, South Africa. Just like other countries like Germany, California, UK, Australia, and France. Yes, South Africa is also experiencing crippling power grid failures, just like the rest of them. In some cases, up to 10 hours per day without electricity. Yes, to homes and businesses. But unlike these others, South Africa is actually currently in the dead of winter. You know how the globe works, winter down south, right? So they are in the dead of winter and they're experiencing 6 to 10 hours of no power per day. A lot of people in South Africa heat their homes with electricity. They've been experiencing now for over 2 weeks rolling blackouts. Question is, will this start impacting food production? It is definitely already impacting a lot of other producers, a lot of other manufacturing in the country. They just don't have enough power to heat their homes, in some cases to power their cars. They don't have enough power to run their businesses. Stage 6 cuts across the country. Some of those have been downgraded to stage 5, but it sounds like that's about ballpark, unless you're in a government enclave where you probably have a lot less cuts, because that's how government works, doesn't it? Some of these are back down to stage 5, which is only 8 hours of electricity cuts per day, because, you know, that's so much better, right? But the question is, will it get worse over the next couple weeks? Will it go up to stage 7 or stage 8, which could be up to 12 hours per day of no power? We're experiencing this fact, that cell phone towers, battery backups, have been designed to deal with some of these power outages and stuff like that, but they don't have enough time with power during the day in order to recharge enough so that they can operate when there is no power. So what's happening around the country is when they shut off the power to an area, the cell phone towers also go down. That's what they're experiencing over there right now, folks. And so the question is, why? I know this is going to be a renewable socialist utopia. How could there possibly be power issues? Like, how could that possibly be? We're moving to renewable energy. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing, so certainly there shouldn't be any power cuts whatsoever. Well, this latest bout was triggered by 5 generating units breaking down. Now, that's not solar generating units. That's not wind generating units, because, quite frankly, wind and solar do not put out that much energy, okay? 2,400 megawatt hours combined between those 5 generating units. This is just rampant, reckless mismanagement. When the newest powers that be came in and took over SCOM, which is the power, they produce 95% of the power for the South African grid. They cut maintenance budgets dramatically. They took this policy line of these coal-fired power plants are about to be obsolete, so we shouldn't invest in repairing them. We shouldn't build any new ones. We shouldn't repair the ones that we have. We should just, as they break down, phase them out. SCOM used to be back in 2001, it was one of the top utility companies in the world. They were exporting energy to other countries. Now they can't import enough energy to cover their shortfalls. It has been mismanaged into the ground. South Africa mines a lot of coal, okay? They pull it out of the ground and they move it by conveyor belt over a little bit, and then they shove it in coal-fired furnaces to produce power. They don't have to move it. They don't have to truck it. They don't have to train it. They can just move it straight out of a lot of these mines, and they have the power plant built right there. They just have to use conveyor belts to kind of move it around the site, and they can just shovel it right into the furnaces. And this is how they've had, functioning power grid for, 100 plus years, right? But then some people got the idea that coal is bad. So let's not maintain those power plants. Let's stop using coal and start using renewable energies. Okay? Do they have a shortfall of money? Is that what this is all about? Well, they just received 7.7 billion euros to build not coal. They received another $476 million to refurbish the Komati coal-fired power plant, which is just this massive coal-fired plant. It's one of the oldest coal-fired plants, and most of the units have been shut down over the years. Is this $476 million to refurbish and reopen these power units so they can have power for the poor people of South Africa? No. They're going to refurbish this power plant into, once again, not coal. Let's hear from their own words. SCOM, this is from their website, the one that can't produce power for the poor people who are freezing in their homes in the middle of winter. SCOM sees itself playing a significant role in the creation of renewable electricity generation capacity in South Africa's future, says Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan. Yes. Let's play a significant role. The focus of the unit will be on development and establishment of renewable and alternative technology energy capacity. The assets will be created by this unit, but operationally will be run by the generation division. Yes, let's focus on making renewable energy. SCOM has proposed a pipeline of almost $13.3 billion of renewable energy, gas, battery storage projects. Yes, doesn't that sound wonderful? Except you can't keep the stupid lights on. The troubled state-owned power utility, SCOM, which produces about 95% of the country's electricity, is implementing scheduled rolling blackouts in an attempt to save electricity while struggling to keep its aging and poorly maintained coal-fired power stations operational. That's what we're looking at. SCOM sometimes gives just a few hours notice before the blackouts. It's very difficult to understand what will happen next, Janie Rousseau, an economist at Johannesburg University, said. Will load shedding stages decline over time going forward? Will we go back to stage 6, or might we move even beyond stage 6 in the months to come? It's really just impossible for the general public and businesses in South Africa to plan if SCOM cannot plan its capacity. If we just knew how bad it would be, we could at least prepare, is what they're saying. But we don't, because all we get is lies. Oh, everything's fine. We just had a little act of sabotage here. Don't worry, it'll be back on in just a couple days. And then weeks later, you keep getting told days, and then it turns into weeks, and then it turns into months. SCOM is in a race against time to procure additional capacity from renewable energy sources like wind and solar through independent power producers. How about you get the lights back on? How about you focus all your energy on getting those coal fire plants back operational? No. They want to get 1,000 megawatts of energy from the private sector. You have all the money. Why aren't you building new power plants? Why aren't you repairing the power plants? Why aren't you reactivating old units? Friends, are you seeing the path that all the rest of us countries are going down? They're doing the same thing in the United States here. They're doing the same thing in the UK. They're doing the same thing in France. They're doing the same thing in Germany. They're doing the same thing over in Australia. You keep having power outages. You keep having these issues that, these aren't really a big deal. Don't worry about them. It's just the transition. South Africa teeters on the brink of a total shutdown as food, home, water, financial security, and communication networks are stretched to the limit through load shedding. Some have hinted at civil unrest if the electricity network suffered a total collapse. Despite earlier promises that load shedding would be downgraded, SCOM yesterday said diesel constraints, wait, what? Diesel? Meant that it might not be able to do so. Should this uncertainty of diesel supplies persist, higher stages of load shedding may be required. Wait, what? They just keep changing the terms. They keep moving things around. Oh, well, we were going to just put some diesel generators up. Remember, that's how California did it too? They don't want to invest in fossil fuel power plants, but when they're like, we need power somehow, what are we going to do? Let's get a bunch of portable diesel generators in and set them up temporarily just to get us through this little hump so that we can buy more renewable energy power stations. When they don't realize that those renewable energy power stations are the problem in the first place. They don't work well in the wintertime. They don't work well when it's dark out. It's the nature of the thing. And there just isn't grid capacity-wise power banks that you can store the energy from the daytime to the nighttime. So what you have is you have enough power during the daytime, but you never have enough power at nighttime. And the coal-fired power plants can only handle so much. They can only handle so much. You can't keep playing this little game of, oh, look how much renewable energy we're creating. Yes, during the day, but you're not producing any at night. That's what it comes down to. Oh, but the wind farms don't scratch the surface of any power whatsoever. It's solar that's putting a dent in things. Wind doesn't do basically anything. And then it's coal and a little bit of nuclear. That's the truth of the matter, but they don't want to say that. They don't want to say that. They want to get pats on the back for producing renewable energy. They don't want to get pats on the back for grid stability. Friends, you need to be prepared. You need to be prepared. If you were in South Africa right now, having a power bank where you could charge it up while your power's on and then run your house when the power's off would make a whole lot of sense right about now, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? I know we all talk about grid down situations where there's no power whatsoever, but the reality is we're moving in the best case scenario into a situation in Europe and Australia and other places where grid instability is going to require them to shut off power when it's inconvenient for them not to produce your power. Think about that. Make smart choices out there. If you found this video helpful or useful, you might want to check out this other video from me right here. Otherwise, I will see you later. Steve Poplar out.